This is the newly elevated metro at Cannington Station. Cannington Station first opened in the late 1890s, with conflicting dates giving information about the exact opening being between 1889 and 1897, some dates saying 1893. I don't know exactly if someone can confirm which one is correct, but it was one of the original stations on the Armadale line with the opening of the South Western Railway. It was located between Station Street, right here, in Crawford Street or something. I may have forgot the exact name. Over here in East Cannington, which is now approximately halfway between the existing Cannington and Beckenham stations, or the current ones, I should say. That is why it is called Station Street over here, I guess, because it used to lead straight up to the station, which was right here. This is now the site of a 6-car siding, but this is only recently, upon the rebuild of Cannington, the second rebuild of Cannington Station, I should say, as part of Metronet. However, the first rebuild was with the electrification project, with the station being relocated about 500 meters north and rebuilt as an elevated station, which we all remember, the good old Cannington Station. So right here is where the old one would have been, in between, and you can now see the elevation of the line just up there. Oh, seriously? There we go. Where the line starts going up, that's Beckenham Station, so really not that far. The distance between these two stations is not very much, but yeah, Beckenham used to also be at ground level, and of course my original Beckenham Station video would have filmed that, as well as the original Cannington Station video I made, which recorded the old Cannington Station, which in fact we were right here at the start of that video, I believe, next to this electrical substation. There was a lot of water and creeks around here. It seems to all be gone now as part of all the rebuilds, and then we headed up to the station, and now we're filming 3 or 4 years later, whatever it is, maybe even 5, at the new elevated Metronet station. So you can see videos of the electrification rebuild in the video of the Transport electrification that's on YouTube. I'll link it in the corner. Here's just a sign about the artwork here as well. The mural along this wall between Cannington and Beckenham talks about the serpent. Yeah. Anyway, you can read about that, but so that station operated for 30 to 33 years until the Armadale line was shut down in November 2023, with the final service on the night or the very early morning of the Monday, the 20th of November 2023, and we were all on that, lots of enthusiasts, and I have that on the channel as well. So then the station was rebuilt during this period and reopened 1.5 years later on the 8th of June 2025 with the opening of the Thornlie-Cockburn line, connecting down to Cockburn Central and the Mandurah line and the rest of the inner Armadale line stations. Armadale line trains terminated at Cannington Station for a few months after this, using the newly constructed siding to turn back. Prior to the rebuild, there was also a siding here, but it was actually located off to the right side of the tracks, and trains had to cross over to use it. I also don't think it was a full 6 cars long, so no services really used it unless there was any like disruptions, or I think there was one train a day scheduled to use it, just to use it. There goes set 85 on the Thornlie-Cockburn line, which is now operated almost exclusively by B-Series trains, although upon opening it was A-Series until the extended Armadale line to Byford Station reopened on the 12th of October 2025, and the Cannington Station became a through station for the Armadale line. Despite both Armadale and Thornlie-Cockburn line trains stopping at Beckenham Station one stop down the line, Cannington Station is actually designated as the interchange station based on onboard announcements and the timetabled connection. Most of the time during off-peak and on weekends, when you get to Beckenham Station on an inbound Armadale or Thornlie-Cockburn line train, the outbound train of the opposite line will have just left like 1 or 2 minutes ago. You usually meet right at the crossover where the tracks split apart, which is really terrible. I don't know, I mean, they're trying to make sure people don't use Beckenham Station as the interchange because it's a much more minor station and it is not an island platform, which means you have to go all the way around. So, but like, that's your choice, you know, but I just really don't like that timetabling. So then you have to go to Cannington Station, get off, you wait on the island platform, don't have to go anywhere, and it's usually about a 7-minute connection. That is off peak and weekends. But when it's 30-minute frequency at night, it's actually a much better connection. It's about 4 minutes at Cannington Station, but you can get off at Beckenham and it's about 7 minutes. So, but I really just don't like the fact that they're slowing down trips so much. It could actually be so fast. Like, the Thornlie-Cockburn line opens up so many opportunities to get to places. Like, if you live in Gosnells and are going to Mandurah, you know, you can take 2 short train rides and you're already at the Mandurah line instead of a long bus ride. But instead they just make it even longer with that connection, which is what I really don't like. And also when they have unscheduled disruptions, they often have not unscheduled, scheduled disruptions. They often have the Thornlie-Cockburn line terminating at Beckenham Station, and then the announcements are wrong because you actually do have to go to Beckenham Station to switch. But yeah, we're now walking along the newly reconstructed PSP that goes all along the inner Armadale line, well, and beyond. We just walked past that car park there, which also didn't exist previously. I don't actually know what that is. It's not a Transport car park, so just a random parking. You can park it for free. But from here on, it is or should I say Metronet car park, which this is some of the parking. There isn't actually too much parking here. There's actually more parking located on the very far end of the bus interchange, which is pretty much the longest bus interchange on the network, which you'll hear me complain about it soon. Which means that parking is actually closer to Queen's Park Station than Cannington Station, which is just ridiculous because Queen's Park Station is also very close, and you can see it down there in the distance. Absolutely crazy. We are only about 12 kilometers from Perth here, but still the stations are really close to each other. After that, there's a long gap since Welshpool Station was removed. So parking is quite limited for like the size of the station. It is actually the busiest station on the Armadale and Thornlie-Cockburn lines. Well, I guess Cockburn Central is busier, but not for the Thornlie-Cockburn line, it's for the Mandurah line. So I don't know the exact numbers, but this one has about 1 million passengers a year. So it is the busiest one outside of the city centre. And there goes a train. Such a good view down to Cockburn. It's such a good view from here down the hill and up from the bridge as well. I remember going there many times during the construction of Cannington Station. I'll make sure to get a shot. Quite ironically, it's actually already been almost a year since the station opened now that I'm filming this, but that's good because all the landscaping's been done. But it is actually late May 2026 when I'm filming this, and it'll be even later when I post it. So pretty crazy that it was that much later. I was waiting for the Armadale line reopening though to properly record everything. Now, did you just see all that section literally fenced off at a railway siding? Well, apparently that is Long Park between Beckenham and Cannington stations, which is so not true. The only resemblance of a park is right under here next to Cannington Station, and even this is very minimalistic. As I've said many times before, the main Long Park section is only all the way up between Old Street and Carlisle. All of this is not really that much. There is a few things, and you can see them on the map here. So here are the parking machines as well, and also actually a very nice bike shelter. which only opened with the Armadale line because all this was still blocked off by temporary fencing when the station first opened. And you can go in there. You can actually get a better look of that from the lifts. And we'll walk into the other side and then we'll do a nice tour of the platforms. Now, despite the station being very modern looking and nice, and in fact it didn't even have to be rebuilt because there was no level crossings removed as a result of rebuilding this, since it was already elevated, but it's just outdated basically. The old bus interchange would have been right along here. There was a traffic light over there for the buses leaving. They've got rid of that now. There's just a car park here instead, and there's just a staircase up. I can't believe how much has changed, you know. Yeah, but despite it being like this, there's actually quite a lot of issues. Quite a bad design overall, which I'm going to point out to you now, especially with the massive bus interchange, which I guess we can walk through now. Although keep in mind, actually some routes have just yesterday, as of filming, been proposed to change already, just a year after reopening. So I'll tell you about that when we do go through the stands, and I'll probably film some of the changes right now as well. Now this intersection here is actually the only intersection that I know of, and the only bus interchange in Perth with a dedicated pedestrian traffic light. Not that many people follow it, but I'm saying the only intersection which has lights on the floor like this. This is in many places in Melbourne, but I believe this is the only one in Perth like this, with the lights that light up green. There we go. And then you can cross. Now I guess it is very busy. Oh my god, there's actually a gas bus here. That is rare. There used to be a lot of gas buses here, but now there's only a gas bus from Southern River Depot ever since Welshpool got rid of all the gas buses. And in fact, that is on the 229 service, which I'm actually going to take right now because that is one of the changes proposed. We'll go through all the stands in a moment, but just the main thing is, it's just so bad having such a large bus interchange, especially with through running bus routes, and where the exits are for the buses and where the entrance is for the train station is just terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. It's so long, so far to walk. You're basically closer to Queen's Park Station once you're in that end. And even though the platform is right above us and it could be a perfect connection, especially because it's actually an open station, despite being such a major interchange, and there is literally a staircase here, it is just an emergency staircase instead of it being an actual proper connection, which would be perfect right into the middle of the bus interchange. Already that would make it so much better. So much better. Look, right here. But instead you have to go out all the way at the end and then cross the road as well. In fact, with this, you wouldn't even have to cross the road. There's literally a staircase here. And why does it matter when it's an open station? It's so dumb. Look at that. Anyway, we have that gas bus coming in now. I don't know which stand it's at, but it's over there, all the way down the end. This is a very nice view here with the tracks combining together and the sun coming down the middle and these plants that'll grow. Oh, it's already here. One of the rare sightings of a gas bus at Cannington. Anyway, I'll continue the video in a moment, but I just need to film this right now. Alright, so we're gonna start here on the very far end of the bus interchange just to show you the worst routes, the ones you have to walk the furthest to. First of all, we have the 222 and school specials here in stand 8. Now this is okay because the 222 is literally 5 times a day or 6 times a day. There's the schedule. Over to Curtin University, basically just serving the Bentley Health campus and the old person place near Curtin, and the work power. Weekdays only, every 2 hours basically. And school specials obviously not very frequent as well. So having this all the way down here, not that big of a deal. But the further on we go, the worse it gets, especially on the other side actually. But over here we have the 177, which is quite a popular route over to Elizabeth Quay, although still the frequency is hourly in the middle of the day, hourly on weekends, so I guess it's not that great. Last service 9 on a Saturday is pretty good, but 6 on a Sunday is terrible. Then we have the 72, which is another route to Elizabeth Quay, also going through Curtin, and that area also hourly on weekends, but it is half hourly in the middle of the day. And this was actually improved with the TCL changes. It used to be 2 hourly on Sundays. Following this, we have the 200, which connects over to Bull Creek Station via the old 509 route, I think it was. So I guess that's a good one as well. Also hourly in the middle of the day and weekends as well. Not really that great frequency in many of these routes, which hopefully the upcoming changes will improve. Then we have the 202 and 203, not to be confused with the old circular routes. These are now both services to Bull Creek Station, replacing old bus routes as well. I actually already forgot what they replaced, but well, the 203 was kind of a fully new one. 202 replaced 508, I think it was. I did remember all of that in the past. I made big videos on that. Now these are much more frequent, every 15 minutes combined on weekends. And then we have the 925, which is the only high frequency bus route at the station at the time of recording, but there's another one coming very soon. This is over to Bull Creek Station, replacing the old 507, 15 minutes all day every day until nighttime, which is very good. So that being close to the entrance is good. This side they were smart with what's close to the entrance, but I mean, I guess the set down close is good as well. But there's actually a gas bus in the 200. Genuinely didn't know that we have that type of shift as well. 207 goes to Murdoch University via Nicholson Road Station and Ranford Road Station, and is also a very frequent route every 15 minutes during the middle of the day and 30 minutes on weekends. Now that one replaces the old 206 in some sections going via Nicholson Road, while the 208 replaces the old 206 in other sections going via Thornlie Station and Langford. And yeah, I filmed all that in the TCL bus changes video. And this one is also just as frequent as the 207. These are some very busy routes, every 15 minutes, every 30 minutes on weekends. And this is also the replacement stand for the Byford service, while that one there is the replacement stand for the TCL service, which is a terrible replacement route. But anyway, now if we check the other side of this massive bus interchange, over here we have stand 16. Yes, there's 16 stands. I think that's actually the most stands of any train station, isn't it? Yeah, I believe so. So literally the biggest bus interchange. So 16 and 15 are both for set down, which I guess good next to the entrance. But like, as I said, everything would be so much better with an entrance in the middle. And then we have this stand 14, which is a very busy stand because it has both rail replacement services to Perth Station, as well as all the services to the Carousel at the moment, which are the circle routes and the 229 from Addington and the 280 from High Wycombe. So this is the stand you go to if you want to get over to the back entrance of the Carousel or the middle entrance. Frequency is relatively okay. Weekends it's still really not that great, especially on a Sunday. How come there's one less stop in the 229? Or one more stop? I don't know. I think it's because it says it U-turns for the other routes at the end, which is kind of dumb. But yeah. And then we have another very busy route, the 100, connecting to Canning Bridge via Curtin University. It's much busier from the other side, from the Mandurah line, but this side is very busy as well. And now this route, as of July 5, is going to be operated by Keolis, and not Swan Transit anymore, and renumbered to Route 920. Yes, new high frequency route right here. I'll definitely make some videos of that as well. 100, 200, yes. For quite a while, a year and a bit, we had both routes 100 and 200 at Cannington Station, but with it becoming the 920, that's no longer going to be the case. Then we have the 34, which is the absolute slowest bus route over to the city, also via Curtin and those areas. 15 minutes during the day, 30 minutes on weekends. That route, I don't know, like, unless you're going to the houses along its unique sections, there's no reason to take it. I mean, to Curtin from here is not that bad, but other than that. And then we have the 36 and 51 here, which were both introduced as part of the Armadale line shutdown as replacement routes, connecting you to the airport line or straight to the city via Orrong Road, which previously didn't have a bus, but then were both retained. So with the proposed changes, we would have the 51 also extending to the Carousel, providing a direct connection for residents in Rivervale and along Orrong Road to the Carousel. And the 36, as I said before, would be renumbered to the 224 and operate a little bit of a different alignment to replace some of the removed sections with the removal of the 224 and 225 circle routes. And also extended the carousel, so there'll actually be a direct connection from the airport to the carousel. Then we have the 224 and 225, the circle routes. These are both being removed. Oh, this is 36 right now. Now that only operates on weekdays, which is really stupid because it's actually a really good connection from the southeastern suburbs to the airport, but unfortunately only on weekdays. Although it just left empty, so I guess not many people use it, but they do in the industrial area. Now these two routes are absolutely terrible. Let me show you this. Hourly in the middle of the day for each one. I guess you can take the other one, but it's a long way around then. They do both through run from the carousel as well. Actually, they fixed it then, didn't they? I actually didn't realize they did fix it, because with the TCL opening originally, that's what I wanted to show you before. They actually had 224 and 225 on the other side, which was so bad, because they had to loop the whole interchange twice to through run. But as long as they're on this side, it's actually fine, because they come in, stop, and then leave. I don't know why they didn't think of that in the first place. But yeah, okay, I guess it's fine now. I hope they don't screw it up again with the changes. But as you can see, hourly, Saturday is actually the same timetable as weekdays, which is surprising. But then Sunday, only the 225 runs and not the 224. So if you live on the very end of the 225, sucks to be you. Have to take all the way the long way around, and it's hourly. So that is just terrible. And then the very final stand is the 229 to Cannington, which we just took before, which is also going to be changed, and the 280 connecting up to the upper line at Thornlie-Cockburn Station, also going by that station street we saw at the start of the video, which is also going to get a change to go by a different road. Look at that view of the train up there. So with the changes, the circle routes will be removed and replaced by a few... Yeah? Well, someone just recognized me, but with the changes, we would have a new 226 service terminating at Mills Park, which would actually be a very strange suburban terminus, which we don't often see with new routes anymore, replacing the section of the current 280 being removed, as well as the southern section or eastern section of the 224 and 225 circulars. Then we would have the new 224, the realigned 36, replacing the western section of those routes by turning in instead of just going the same path as the 51 and going out to the airport that way. And then there would also be a realignment of the 280 to go straight down the middle of East Cannington, which would be so much better than right now, because I don't know why there's so much duplication right now. We have both the 36 and the 51 on the western side, as well as the circle routes, and then on the eastern side we have the 229 and the circle routes, as well as the 280, and nothing in the middle. So that would actually make it so much better. And then finally it would have the 227 going, a new 227 going down past Beckenham Station, which currently doesn't have a bus, and then a little bit of a new alignment before connecting over to the current 229 route. So that would much better spread out the buses in the area, provide less confusion, no more circle routes. The only weird thing would be that 226 terminus. So I don't know if all those changes are going to go ahead exactly as described. It is currently in consultation, but by the time this video is out, it probably will have changed, and I will have provided you maybe a quick little update. But yeah, if you want to see all the details of that, at the same time right now I am filming one of the bus changes videos for that. Even though there's no new train line opening or anything like that, they're still doing a full consultation and a large round of bus changes, which will be interesting to see. But that is it. That is Transport's biggest bus interchange at a train station, and the absolutely terrible design of it. They have improved some of the bus routes running through, but basically any through running routes here are bad. And also with all the traffic lights and the long way around, it's still just too far. And then we have bus dedicated traffic lights up there as well. And then after that is the parking, and then after that you get towards Queen's Park Station, which I'm pretty sure I filmed actually in the Queen's Park video, where I started at the Cannington Station car park, so I don't actually have to go up there. But yeah, and here's where the very end of the platform is and where the access could be, but it's not. Now we're just going to take a quick look at the platforms, and then I've already talked for way too long, and then we'll get to the bus and train clips. All right, we're back at the entrance now, but I just wanted to say one more thing about the buses, which I can't believe I forgot to mention. When I first opened, we had Rita here taking this video of welcome to the awesome Cannington bus interchange. But look at this, the fact that it is a 400, 500 meter walk to get to the furthest bus stops from the train platform, or if you just missed the bus, did you know you can literally go over here instead to this pedestrian crossing very simply and cross the road, and look at that bus stop. There's a bus stop right there serving every single route from Cannington Station except the one which goes down there, 229. But even 229 to Carousel is there. So basically every route from Cannington Station stops at that bus stop, which is closer to walk to than the furthest stands all the way down there. As you can see, obviously closer. And if you have a tight connection, literally just run across the road there and you can catch it. Because by the time the bus finishes looping out, 3 different lights, pedestrian light, bus light, and this light, you are definitely gonna get there. So you can save so much time as well by doing that. Such a good hack, and that is what a lot of people did, which resulted in no one getting out of the station and tons of people there and buses crowding all the way up to the traffic lights. I haven't seen that for a while now, but when it first opened, so many people were doing that. So yeah, that's just another aspect of terrible design. I don't get why there's a bus stop right after the station, like right after, like that's just way too close. Like, but even though it's right there, it took like 4 minutes to get there because of the traffic lights. That's how bad it is. Anyway, here is the text of the station. It's one of the only stations with something like that at the entrance, which is pretty cool. And we have ticket machines and a smartware hub and stuff here, and then you can walk in. Now, it is an open station, surprisingly, despite its major hub status. There are the processors, timetables, drink fountain, and there is toilets here, unlike any of the other elevated LXRP stations except Oat Street. And then we have escalators up there, or the set of stairs, which are pretty cool as well, or the lift. And then we have 2 lifts up to the island platform, and if there was side platforms, there'd be 4 lifts, but this is the only LXRP station with an island platform, and it is the most unique one of them all, actually looking good instead of what the other ones do. And now here's that good view of the bike shelter I was talking about. You can see very nice bike shelter, and we go up the lift and we end up on the very southern side of the platform, which is actually fenced off. Now you would have already seen this before in other videos, but it is very cool. The staircase is here. It is actually a fenced off section, and you can come up right next to the track. In this section, the train obviously does not stop. And then we have the big 6-car platform. So this is the main section. Looks very grand here. With these barriers and everything, and then we have screen displays and all the way down. Now you will also see the view up from that road bridge over there in the train clips. I'm not gonna show you it as part of the walkthrough because it's already too long, but yeah, just walk straight across the platform for connections to the other line, and a nice view of empty fields with great potential for transit-oriented development through all this area. Now, during the shutdown, buses actually stopped over at the temporary Cannington bus station, which was located closer to the carousel over down there. I did make a whole separate video about that as a bus station when it was operating, and you can go watch that. So the end of the platform the end of the shelter down here, the very end doesn't have it. It is only serviced by 6-car trains during stadium events with the 6-car TCL trains. Otherwise, trains are never really stopping down here. But as I said, look, that's where you could access the bus interchange. So like, I don't know. And the other thing is that this side wall here, which is like the emergency escape of the elevated viaduct, the train's computer recognized that as the platform instead of the actual platform. So, and they still haven't fixed this, a year after this station began operation. So basically, every time the train stops, the computer says you're opening the doors on the wrong side, and then the doors don't open, and then the driver has to override it, and then the doors open. So there's usually about a 10 to 15, 20 second delay in the doors opening here, which is so bad, especially in the B series. And people always get annoyed about that, and they still haven't rectified it. So I don't know, that's just another design issue. But there's the whole station for you, and there is the 750 meter marker for Queen's Park Station, which is literally just down there, very close by. And there's the bus interchange view from the top. It is a nice view, but it's just not a nice design. I wish you could just go down here. And with that, we'll move into the train and bus clips now. There's a good view out to the hills that way as well, and all the overhead planes like that one landing at the airport. And then, yeah, we'll give maybe the rating on the bridge later. What a fresh pantograph, set 6. Sorry for the sudden change in weather, but I just came back on another day to finish all my clips, and now it's absolutely raining. But you know what I just thought of? The Australind is going to be coming through this station as well in literally 3 weeks time, or even less, 2 weeks time from the time of recording, which is so crazy. It's going to look so weird through here. Bruh, stupid 2 car. And you can see all the confused passengers while the doors don't open. And the absolute failure of the shelter at the station as well, now that it's raining so much. They could have just extended it slightly more, but nope, they had to make it so it rains straight down in between the door and the shelter. Absolutely terrible. Everyone, especially where the doors don't open at Cannington, everyone running to the door, pressing the button, let me in, and then it doesn't open, they run back, they try again, it doesn't work, they run back. So ridiculous, so funny. And we have the Cockburn train coming in. The rain does make for like a more aesthetic video though, so I'm not complaining. I love these ends of the platform, you can get such a good shot, look at this. Which other station can you get a shot like this at? At the front of the train while it's departing.
Passengers, the next service departs from platform 1 in 5 minutes. This service runs passengers, your next service is leaving from platform 1 in 2 minutes. This service stops all stations.
And look who it is, the back train in the crash at Guildford recently. Completely fine, maybe some flat spots on the wheels, but...
leaving from platform 1 in 5 minutes. This service stops all stations to Perth. Passengers for Cockburn, your next service departs from platform 2 in 2 minutes. This service stops all stations to Cockburn.
Alright guys, I feel like this is just such a joke now, how much I'm dragging out this video. It is now mid-August 2026 and I'm back again to film the buses because somehow I still didn't because I couldn't be bothered in the rain. And guess what? We now have a cafe open at Cannington Station. Yes, I haven't been here for so long, they built a whole cafe. I'm not joking, but that's actually so cool. I never knew they were even putting that in under the bricks like that. That is very nice. Grind and Bits Espresso Cafe. Very nice. Might get a coffee, support the business, you know. Setting up in the train station, always supportive of that. Anyway, let's get this over with now because this video has been dragged out over a ridiculously long time, starting with this 224. And as I said, all these routes are going to change, but they still haven't. So it will be in like a month. But the 920 is here now. So yeah, I guess in the walkthrough you saw 100 buses, now you're going to see 920 buses. And the 72 is now Swan, including Southern River gas buses operating on it, which is very cool. Gas buses back at Curtin, eh? Ah, 36 with 3311 here. Not gonna be seen anymore soon. I guess this just doubles as filming routes which are not gonna be seen either. Well, that driver gave me the biggest stare I've ever seen. Put his glasses on and then stared at me. Oh, other direction, 224. What is this bus doing here? Oh, that's a nice driver. I thought that was a Joondalup one. Or, I mean, ex-Joondalup obviously, but gosh, that feels so cursed here. And hello, 920. Wonderful to finally have that high-frequency route number back in action. And right behind that we have the 925. Look at that. Alright, that's probably enough from this angle. Why am I even talking? Why am I talking during the bus clips? I don't usually do that. But I guess this video has become too long, might as well entertain you more. 207. And of course, like a whole 3 minutes later, we can see these buses again. As I've already complained about enough in this video, I think, but oldest Transperth bus right there, 1501. Damn, that's the Pack 229. Definitely need some changes to those routes, eh? Oh my, the confusion. 2 225s in a row, both with the carousel desto. You literally got no way to tell which one is which, other than the standard stop sign. Oh my gosh, so many buses here now. And a 177 as well, which is quite uncommon, so probably the rarest route here. Well, no, it runs on weekends while the 36 doesn't, but still, I think there's more 36s during the day. And 200 as well. Oh, he's looping there. Okay, welcome up to the Gerald Street Bridge. I've actually just noticed there's also some parking over there, an electric parking base where the old bus interchange was from the old station. And then you have a one-way exit there. They've blocked it off in the middle there with the cones where the traffic light used to be. Somehow I never noticed it was like that. But other than that, we're up here now. There's an Armadale Line train coming in both directions. And we're gonna have a good shot here into the station while I give you my rating. So, despite being such a grand and beautiful station, it is only going to be getting a rating of 4 stars, mainly because of all the crappy bus interchange problems, which I've thoroughly discussed in this video. I really wish it wasn't like that, but unfortunately, that's how it's been done. If they open that middle exit, it'll be so much better. There's the train. up the slope. And really when you're up here, you just emphasize how close the stations are. I can literally see Queen's Park just down there. And obviously Beckenham right behind us as well. Also, of course, it's really sad that the connectivity to the carousel is as bad as it is, considering it's such a major shopping center. We have all this empty dead space here. Hopefully with the upcoming bus changes, that'll fix it as well, with the 51 continuing there, because I just saw a lot of people getting off the 51 trying to get on a 224 to, oh my god, 2 car, to carousel, but yeah. Oh, set 29. The derailment set. Obviously, that was the wrong direction, 224 as well. Again, more confusion. Two different aspects of the bus changes, the 51 not going there and the 224 having two different directions, so. But yep, thanks for watching. Goodbye and see you in the Midland Station video.